What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Chasing the Weekday. Today we're going to film a review and tour of our 2017 Ford F450. This truck has a 6.7 liter power joke diesel in it. From the factory, it has 440 horsepower and 925 pounds of torque. And that has been plenty for everything that we've wanted to do. It doesn't struggle to pull our fifth wheel at all. And our fifth wheel weighs about 16,500 pounds loaded. Pretty much bone stock under the hood, other than DCR pump. First thing I did when we bought this truck was I swapped out the CP4 high pressure fuel pump for the DCR pump. And I just did that for reliability's sake, just in case something were to happen while we were several thousand miles away from home. So one of the reasons that we chose an F450 over an F350 was the turning radius. So the F450s have a wide track front axle, and that enables the front tires to turn a little sharper. So this truck will turn significantly sharper than an F350 will, even though the truck is the same size. And that makes it extremely easy to get into parking places and tight parking lots and to maneuver the RV around in certain spots. We've put about 15,000 miles on this truck in the 8 months that we've owned it. So now it has almost 107,000 miles on it. As far as fuel economy goes, it's not the greatest. I mean, it is a big, heavy truck with 430 gears, and it is basically just made to tow. We get about 12.5 miles to the gallon empty and about 8 miles to the gallon pulling our camper. Now, the good thing is it does come factory with a 48-gallon fuel tank. So the farthest I like to go on a travel day is about 300 miles on one tank. I think we've went about 330 to 350 miles one day, but that's pushing it for me. Empty, though, we can go quite a bit more miles, and that makes it really nice for road trips. Another awesome point about this truck is it does have bigger brakes. So I think the F350s come with 14-inch brake rotors, and the 450s come with 15-inch rotors. And it works. You can definitely tell a difference. These tires are the Toyo M655s, and they have been okay. They're not very good in the rain, but other than that, they've been pretty good. It's got a nice set of mud flaps on it. I think they're the WeatherTech mud flaps. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's what they look like. It's something that the previous owner put on before we bought it. It has ranch hand bumpers front and rear, which, I mean, I wouldn't have put on there necessarily, but I really like them. We had the factory bumpers that came with it too, but I just don't want to change them out because you never know when you're going to get whacked. It has the tailgate step, which I don't really use that often, but I'm going to use it today to show you how it works. So this is the fifth wheel hitch that we use. It's the B&W companion for the Ford Puck system. It's the 25,000 pound rated hitch. I went ahead and got the highest rated B&W hitch I could get. That way, just in case we upgraded fifth wheels in the future, we wouldn't have to upgrade our hitch. For the most part, I like it. It has been a good hitch. It's the smoothest hitch that we've ever had. It's super quiet and smooth when you're towing down the road. We have absolutely no chucking or anything like that. I love the base. I think the base is perfect, but I don't like how it does not have enough flexibility. It doesn't really have enough side-to-side flexibility for me. Our last fifth wheel hitch that we had was a Reese, and it actually had quite a bit of flexibility in it, which made it easier in some of the situations that we get ourselves in campgrounds and where we park it at our home base. The reason that I want more flexibility out of it is because when we park and the truck and trailer are opposite of each other, it puts this hitch in a bind. And sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes you can have someone hold this lever open and you can actually pull out of it. But twice it has locked up to the point where we've had to pull these pins out right here and actually lift the head off the hitch with the trailer, just enough to get it unbound in here. So, but that's only happened twice, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but it is kind of a complaint. It's not the easiest hitch, in my opinion, to hook up to your trailer because of the way that the head is made. The head itself is a little thin for me. It's not built super heavy duty right here. My Reese hitch that I had it actually came down into here, had like a skirt down here, and it was rounded over. And so if you weren't perfectly in line, it would actually funnel itself in better than this hitch. While I didn't like the jaws on the Reese at all necessarily, the jaws on this one, I don't like either. But they are smooth and they are tight, but it opens to the back. So all it's held in with is this little pin right here. So if something happens, if anything breaks in here, or this pin, you know, just some freak accident happens, that's what happens going down the road. So I do not like that at all. So I really prefer the jaws of the Demco hitch. I don't necessarily like the head design of it either, but I like the jaws of it. If we don't switch to a gooseneck setup, that might be something I do in the future, is switch that hitch. Overall, I like it. It's super easy to get out of the truck. You just pull these two pins out right there, flip these levers out sideways. I have to take the head off first and get it out of the way, and then, because it's heavy, and then just pick up the base. And if I want to pull a gooseneck, I typically just set all this stuff up forward, and then I put my gooseneck ball in here. And then when I'm ready to go back to pulling the fifth wheel, I just swap everything back over. And that way I don't even have to take it out of the bed of the truck. Now, onto the toolbox. Whew. It's messy. It is a messy toolbox. This is where the magic happens. I've got a set of triangles, a set of tiny loppers, and then a couple pipe wrenches, just in case, pry bar, big hammer, some ratchet straps, fluids and funnels. Then I've got my gooseneck ball set up, which is the B&W, and I really like it. So, it is a really nice setup. It was expensive, but worth every penny, in my opinion, to get the B&W ball for these puck systems. Just some random tools, some straps, chains. Oh yeah, I forgot. We've got the Viair compressor and the Viair air tank. I ran a drain line out of my toolbox so I can drain the water out of it from the outside of the toolbox. I went ahead and put a regulator on it for the airbag system. That way it wouldn't put too much pressure to that system. Put all my wiring in here, and then I wired it up to the upfitter switches. And then I put my quick connect out here, and I put a valve on that so I could shut that off. That's that. And we have used it. We've had to use it twice for the truck. I've used it for the camper once. So it is worth every penny to me to have onboard air. It came factory with the trailer light plug in the bed. It has been modified because I ripped it out of the bed one day. And it comes with the normal tie downs that they have, but then it has these up here too, which are really cool. The only thing is I would add another set right in the center because I'm always having to tie stuff down right in the middle of the bed. Also has lights in the bed there, so that really helps at night when you're loading and unloading stuff. It has a ranch hand bumper on the front as well. The only downside about this is that it does stick out a little bit further than the factory bumper does. But we don't want to take these off there because if we're ever driving somewhere and a large animal like a deer or an elk or something were to jump out in front of us, this would definitely save a lot of damage from happening to the front of this truck. That's why we keep them on there, because we don't want to have to worry about any deer that jump out in front of us. We've hit a deer before and it does quite a bit of damage, even to a truck. So this just gives us a little bit of extra added insurance to keep us from having to worry as much about things like that. All right, this is one of my favorite parts of this truck. It is comfortable. The seats are amazing. They fit us really well. I know some people don't like the Ford seats, but we love them. We prefer them. So up here, these are the upfitter switches, and these are what I have everything wired into. So I have a backup camera that goes here, and I've got it wired up to this switch. The dash cam up here is wired up to the number 1, and I put the lighting for my airbag stuff on switch number 3, so it lights up the gauges at night so they're not constantly running when I don't need them. And then put the compressor on number 6. So I keep number 1 on all the time because it's the dash cam. But here is where we put our air system stuff. This is the gauge for the air tank, and this is the gauge for the airbags. And then here's the switch that we put air in the airbags with. I made this panel to specifically fit in this spot. Curves around so that it kind of hides all the wires and the hoses and stuff. This was probably the hardest thing I've ever done on this truck, was run all these air lines and wires inside without cutting a hole in the firewall, because I didn't want to do that. So I just ran it through one of the rubber boots that already has a ton of wires running through it. It has a 110 outlet up here, and then your 12 volt outlet. So it has 2 USB ports in this compartment right here. And I think it's got a USB port in here too, I think. But anyway, lots of cup holders, lots of good, comfortable storage up here. We hardly ever open that thing, but it's really nice. And we put our Starlink right up here when we're traveling, so it makes it super nice to have internet when you're going down the road if you need it. The back seat has tons of room. I mean, look at all this leg room right here. Adults easily can fit back here. I mean, even if I'm sitting in the middle with the console, I have so much room in this back seat. Also, each seat flips up, so this is where I keep my jumper cables. I've got some tire plugging tools just for emergencies, and the power inverter for these 110 outlets is back here. Lots of trash as well, and dog fur, because I did not clean it before a tour. So this storage is super nice. It's where I keep the Viair, the air compressor stuff, air tools, fire extinguisher, and my air hoses, some extra fuses, extra light bulb, and my impact, and some of the smaller ratchet straps and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that I don't want to keep in the toolbox, I keep in here. And it's a lot easier to get to when it's in here. So I really, really like that. And they also have plenty of stuff back here, a 110 outlet and your USB ports and your standard 12 volt plug right there. It has the heat and air vents back here. They're okay. I mean, it's better than any truck we've had before, because it's the first one that's ever had any heat and air vents in the back. But the floor mats are Husky brand floor mats. It didn't have any floor mats in it when we bought it. We decided to go with the Huskies instead of the WeatherTech mats, because our WeatherTech mats always curl up on the corners, and we didn't want that to happen. So these have been really good so far, and they've stood up to a lot of foot traffic. They can handle our dog and kids. They're pretty good. I mean, they've got 15,000 miles on these mats, and if I clean them, they would be fine. So if you're looking for a truck to tow your larger RV with, highly recommend an F450. I would definitely look into getting something like this. At least go test drive one and see if it is a fit for you. Take it into some small parking lots, try to fit it into some parking spots that you think you might be going into. Go through a drive-through with it and just see if it's something that you're okay with as far as the size. As far as towing the RV though, I highly recommend it because it pulls amazing. Really, the only downside that we have found is that it does wander the road just a tiny bit. So it likes to find the grooves in the road. So anywhere where the pavement meets, if it meets in the middle of the road or kind of any part of the road that is dished out, the truck will go that direction. And there's nothing you can do about it, pretty much. You have to get way away from the groove to get it to not suck you into it. I've heard that that is pretty much every 450 out there. I've heard some people that say they've never experienced that, and I've heard other people say that it was bad enough that they chose to do something different, whether it be a different truck or putting 20-inch wheels on the truck with a regular 10-ply pickup tires on it. I would love to do that to this truck, but I just really don't want to spend that much money on just wheels and tires. Now this truck does have one size bigger tire on it with the 19.5s. It has 245 70 19.5s, and the factory it came with 225 70s. So they're a little bit taller and a little bit wider, and that is also supposed to help. So that's pretty much the only downside to this truck, other than the physical size of it. Some towns just don't make parking spots long enough for a truck like this. Wide enough is pretty easy. Most parking spots you can fit as far as width goes, with it being a dually. But very few parking spots are going to let this whole truck just be in one spot. So most of the time we park as far out as we can. So we just try to find a spot that's not going to be in anybody's way. The only other truck that I was interested in when we bought this was a Ram Mega Cab dually. Now I know that truck wouldn't have had as big of brakes as this truck. It wouldn't have had as good of tires as this truck, but they do have a better exhaust brake than the Ford does. So I think that would make up quite a bit of the difference. And the only reason I would have chosen a Mega Cab dually would have been for the length. So getting into tight parking places like I just mentioned, that would have solved that pretty much completely. The Mega Cab is only a 160-inch wheelbase compared to the 176-inch wheelbase of this truck. So that's a full 16 inches of wheelbase shorter that would have allowed it to fit into a lot more parking spots than this truck can. And for us personally, the Ford interior is much more comfortable than the Ram interior and much more spacious. And that's just our personal opinion. We've had both. We've owned mostly Fords, but we've owned a Chevy and a Ram mixed in there a little bit. So I love the screen here in the center. I love the map. I don't ever use the GPS on it, but I use it just to see what road is coming up or when my road is coming up. That's mostly how I use it. And it also has a front camera, which is mostly obstructed because of our ranch hand bumper on the front, but you can still kind of see. So also like the mirrors, they are a power scope mirror, so they fold out electrically, and then, or they slide out electrically and then slide back in when you're not towing. All right, so it has the backup camera, the normal backup camera mounted on the tailgate, and then it has the backup sensors in the bumper. So the front is pretty blurry and the right is blurry on the 360-degree overhead camera. You can see that right camera is pretty foggy. I don't know if it's just because it's foggy this morning or if it's permanently foggy. I've actually never used this camera. And then we've got the pickup bed camera, which I used to use, but I don't really use anymore because I just look behind me and I can pretty well guess, but that is pretty handy for hooking up a fifth wheel or a gooseneck. That looks like a wide backup camera, like a wide view backup camera, because it can see beside us. And that is just backup camera. And then that's the normal one I keep it on. I'm not used to having that stuff, so it's actually pretty nice. So that's it, y'all. That's our tour of our 2017 F450. We highly recommend this truck if you have a larger RV that you want to tow. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're happy to answer them. If you need a video of something up close or something like that, we'd be happy to film that for you too and put it in a later video. But overall, we're extremely happy with this truck and we would definitely buy it again.